Today's objective, I can multiply by 4. Let's review. Equal groups is when you have two separated groups with the same number of objects inside each group. Here we have an array, an organized tool using rows and columns. Repeated addition is when we're adding the same number over and over again to get a total. Let's go through some vocabulary. Our factors are the numbers that we are multiplying by to find our answer. The product is the answer to your multiplication problem. When we multiply, we're multiplying the number of groups times how many in each to get a total. Let's get solving. Follow along with me.
Hey there, boys and girls. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be solving some story problems today, so you're going to need to make sure you have your whiteboard and your marker. We are going to be solving story problems with multiples of 2 and 4, so that way when you get older, you can make sure you understand when you should be using multiplication in real life. So let's go ahead and get our boards ready for our first problem. What I'm going to have us do is do it exactly like we do for application. So go ahead and draw a vertical line right down your whiteboard. Doesn't matter if it's straight or not, but look at mine. Mine's crooked. And then you're going to do one horizontally as well. Okay? Now let's listen to the story problem.
Keith has 9 violet balloons. Mike has 4 times more violet balloons than Keith. How many violet balloons does Mike have now?
Awesome. So we need to think about those keywords, what we know from the story problem, so that way we are ready to solve. So Keith has 9 violet balloons. Mike has 4 times more violet balloons than Keith. How many violet balloons does Mike have now? So a key word within that phrase is going to be times. Times is one of our key words when we use multiplication. Think of what you know about times tables. That's why we use the word times in our story problems. So that way when you see that word times, you know that we should be doing multiplication. 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 9 times, you're always going to be multiplying when they say you have 4 times more than somebody else. So we know that he has 4 times, I'm going to throw a little 4 right in front of there, 4 times more violet balloons than Keith. More is also a key word here because it's telling us 4 times more than somebody else. You can also remember that addition is related to multiplication here because if we remember, more is usually something we do with addition, but multiplication is just that repeated addition. Okay? We also need to remember that Keith has 9 violet balloons. Okay? So we know that Keith, I'm just going to put a K for Keith. K for Keith has 9 balloons. Okay? And we are looking for how many more does Mike have now. Okay? So we're looking for how many more. So let's go ahead and think about a picture that we could draw here. Okay? We know that Keith has got 9 balloons. So that's the number that he has inside his group. So if I draw a group here, inside of it, I know there's got to be 9 of them because that's how many Keith has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know that Keith has got 9 balloons. So here's Keith. He's one person. He's got 9 balloons. Okay? But we're not trying to figure out Keith. We're trying to figure out Mike. And Mike has got 4 times that many. So he's got to have 4 groups of 9. So we already have one group of 9. Now we're going to do 2 groups of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 groups of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 4 groups of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is what our equal groups would look like to show this story problem. Down here in the box, I know we normally do our solve, but I want us to go ahead and draw the array for this problem. So we know that we're going to have 4 equal groups because he's got 4 times as many balloons. So 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there should be 9 balloons in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Stop and pause if you need to catch up and try and do a really great job of organizing all of those arrays or the balloons you are making into rows and columns. Okay, so now we have to go ahead and solve for this. We know we had 4 groups. So I'm going to do my repeated addition first. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're adding these together. Now, how many are in each group? 9, 9, 9, 9. We need to add these together. I'm going to use my doubles, baby. Here we go. Here we go. 9 times 9 is, or 9 plus 9, excuse me, is 18. 9 plus 9 is 18. So I'm trying to do 18 plus 18. 18 plus 18. 8 and 8 is 16. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So we know that Mike has got 36 balloons. But now I want to turn this into a multiplication problem because we're 3rd graders now. So we're going to start with how many groups there were? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 groups times how many in each group? 9. And that equals how many total balloons do we have? Very good. If we add all those up, we have 36 balloons. Go ahead and stop and pause if you need to and catch up. But what we should be seeing now is that Mike has got 36 balloons. He has 4 times more than his friend. I think his name was Keith. Okay? Go ahead and erase your board, please. And we are going to try another one. So here comes the next story problem.
There were a total of 7 baseball games each month. The season is played for 2 months. How many baseball games are in the season?
Okie dokie. So, let's take a look here. I'm going to go ahead and draw my board down again. Sorry about that. I had to erase mine. So what do we know from here? Let's think about our key words. There were a total of 7 baseball games each month. We know that total is a huge word. We are looking for a total number of something. Total we know from addition, and total we know is the product, that answer of our multiplication problem. There is a total of 7 baseball games each month. Each is another key word. Each is a huge key word for multiplication. So we know there was a total of 7 games each month. So I'm going to write month there. The season is played for 2 months. So we know that part. There's 2 months there. How many baseball games are in the season? So that question there is referring to that total. We're looking for a total number of games played in the season. Okay? So now we need to think out what we already know. How can we draw this? We know that there are 7 games each month. A month, here we play for 2 months. Those 2 months there are your groups. We have 1 month, 2 months. Can you draw out your 2 months, please? Awesome. Now, how many games do they play in each of those months? 7. So we need to do 7 inside each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 in 1 month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 7 in your second month. So there are your equal groups. Let's draw our array, please. 1 month, 2 months. So we got 2 rows. Now there's 7 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right underneath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's your array. Now let's do our repeated addition. We've got 2 groups. 1 group, 2 groups. We're adding those together. What is inside each group? 7 plus 7. What is 7 plus 7? 14. Let's lean. So now let's turn that into multiplication. We had 1, 2 groups. We always do our groups first. 2 times, what was in each? 7 equals, how many total dots did we have? 14. So there were 14 games in the baseball season. Awesome job working with those story problems. Boys and girls, these story problems are really, really important for you to listen to, pay attention to, and try to understand, because this is how you are going to use multiplication in real life. When you're thinking about your baseball games that you have to go to and how many total you have. Those sorts of things. This is when we use it outside in the real world. So really, really do your best to try and use these concepts in these lessons that I do with you and with our applications. Keep up the great work.
How do you feel about the lesson? You should understand how to use equal groups, arrays, and repeated addition to solve story problems using multiplication.